Hello everyone, and welcome to the second day of applying factoring using word problems. And here we go. So again, we need to review consecutive integer problems. That's going to be the basis in today's homework as well as in today's lesson. Now remember, specific integer problems have the key feature of either saying consecutive even or consecutive odd. Remember, we compared this to like ordering a pizza. Again, when you specifically tell people what you want to have, then you're supposed to get what you specifically ask for. In these instances, the problem specifically asks you for even or odd answers. So you need to make sure that you give them that. Okay? Now let's review how to do this. Okay? Now let's start off with the consecutive even integers. Okay, so let's start with 2, and we're going to make that guy x. Okay, now we want to be able to get to the next consecutive even integer, which would be 4, right? Now we need to get there using addition. So how do I get from 2 to 4 using addition? We would say x plus 2, right? Now the next one obviously would be 6. So how would I get from 2 to 6 using addition? We would say x plus 4. Okay, and the 8, x plus 6. X plus 8. And again, that's very easy to see. Most people easily see that. It's the odd answers that really confuse people. Because what people want to say is, well, yeah, that's easy. Remember, if I start off with x, the next one should be x plus 1, x plus 3, x plus 5, and so on. And again, they say, well, these right here are odd. So it should work, right? No, it doesn't. If I put in an odd number for x, let's say I put in the number 7. Okay, if I add 1 to 7, I get 8. If I add 3 to 7, I get 10. If I get 5 to 7, I get 12. Now again, if I'm looking for odd integers, the problem is those are even numbers. Okay, so that doesn't work. That's no good. So again, remember, we don't have a 1, 3, 5, 7 pattern. Okay, so let's get rid of that. That's no good. Okay, away. Let's make that go away. Again, forget all that. There is no 1, 3, 5, 7 pattern. Okay, goodbye. So, instead, let's look at the x's. Okay, well, let's make 1, which is our first consecutive odd integer. We'll make that x. And again, applying the same logic. If I'm trying to get from 1 to 3 using addition, we would say x plus 2. Okay? If I'm trying to get to 5, that would be my next consecutive odd integer. We'd start at x. We're trying to get to 5. We would say x plus 4. And again, same thing here. From 1 to 7 using addition, it would be x plus 6. To 9, it would be x plus 8. So again, notice whether we say evens or we say odds, it doesn't really matter. The pattern is exactly the same. So we would say when you're given specific integer problems, okay, our pattern, we always start with x, x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, x plus 8, and so on and so forth. That pattern continues, okay, for however many integers that you're going to need for your problem, okay? Now, the other scenario we have with a consecutive integer problem are non-specific integers, okay? So in the problem, it's going to just say consecutive integers. It's not specific. So again, if you're ordering a pizza, remember, you could get anything showing up if you just say, yeah, just throw whatever on it and surprise me, okay? So again, that's what a non-specific integer is. You don't specifically tell them what you want, so you're going to get whatever. Evens, odds, it doesn't matter, okay? So again, for this type of pattern, again, let's pick an integer. Let's start with 1, x. Okay, and now I want to get to the next consecutive integer, which would be 2. So we would say x plus 1. I want to get to 3, x plus 2, x plus 3, and so on and so forth. X plus 4, got to come down here a little bit, need more room. X plus 5, x plus 6, x plus 7, x plus 8, and x plus 9. Okay, so again, if we wanted to specifically set up a pattern for our x's with a consecutive integer, meaning non-specific, we start with x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4, x plus 5, and so on. Alright, so here we go. Let's take a look at our example worksheet. Okay, so the product of two consecutive odd integers is 63. Find the numbers. Okay, so again, the first thing I note, consecutive odd numbers. Consecutive odd. So that tells me that these are dealing with specific type of problem. This is specific, because it specifically tells me it wants the odds. It wants odd numbers. So again, in declaring my variables, the first one would be x. The second one would be x plus 2. Alright, so there are my two variables. Now, the next thing we're going to do, okay, we're going to read the rest of this problem again, figure out what this wants. Okay, so it says the product of these two numbers. So product, again, means we're going to multiply these two numbers together. Okay, so we're going to take x, times it with x plus 2, and it's going to equal to 63. Alright. Now, from our previous lessons, we know that in order to be able to do this out, one side of my equation has to be 0. Well, I don't have that yet. So, we're going to have to make that happen. So, we're going to have to distribute this. So, I get x squared plus 2x is equal to 63. Okay, now I'm going to minus the 63. So x squared plus 2x minus 63 is equal to 0. Okay, so now that we have that, now we got to factor that. X squared plus 2x minus 63 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's factor that. So we're going to use our PS2. Product is negative 63. The sum is positive 2. So the two numbers that multiply to 63 but subtract to 2 are positive 9 and negative 7. Alright, so let's put this in parentheses. X plus 9, x minus 7 is equal to 0. Alright, so that's this thing factored. Give myself a little room here. And now let's set it up to solve. Oops. X plus 9. X minus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's solve this. X plus 9 is equal to 0. So I minus the 9 from either side. Therefore, x equals negative 9. Alright, now let's get the other one. X minus 7 is equal to 0. Add 7's. So x equals 7. Now, remember folks, we're not done yet. Because our question asked us to find all the numbers that do this. And we've got 2 answers. Which means we need to create a data table. Oops. Now, we were told that x can be negative 9. So negative 9. X could be positive 7. So 7. Now, just like we did before, we're just going to fill back in to do our table. So in our first one, negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. For the second one, I'm going to take 7 plus 2 and get positive 9. And this right here is the answers. Okay, you can either have x being negative 9 with negative 7, or if x is 7, then y has to be 9. Alright, so there's our first one. Okay, so let's scooch up. Alright, so we'll take a look at this one. Okay, so here we go. Now again, when I read a problem, the first thing I do, well, when we do a word problem, actually, the first thing we do is we read the stupid thing. We don't do anything else but read it. Okay? So here we go. The sum of the squares of 2 consecutive even numbers is 100. Find the numbers. Okay? So first thing I notice, 2 consecutive even numbers. So again, this is specific. Okay, so since it's specific, x plus 2. Alright. Now, here we go. Now here's the fun part with this problem, folks. The sum of the numbers, so we take x plus 2. Now, sum of the squares means we're going to then take these pieces and square them. And then that result is going to be 100. Alright, so this one is really going to be fun. Okay, so we're going to start. Let's start squaring everything. So x being squared is x squared. Now x plus 2 being squared means we have to write this bad boy twice. Okay, oh, let me make that look like 100. There we go. Now, then we have to Tor attack or FOIL or box method this all out. So x squared plus, now x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4, equaling 100. Alright, so now let's combine all our like terms. Okay, so x squared with x squared is 2x squared. 2x and 2x is plus 4x. Plus 4 is equal to 100. Alright, now we need to make one side of this thing equal 0, so it's minus 100. 2x squared plus 4x minus 96 equals 0. Alright, so now we've got it to where we can start factoring. So I'm going to scooch over a little bit, give myself a little bit more room. Okay, kind of do that. I'm in my own way. Alright, so here we go. 2x squared plus 4x minus 96 is equal to 0. So we're going to start to factor. So the first thing I need to do when I factor this thing is take out GCF, greatest common factor. So I can kick out a 2. So x squared plus 2x minus 48 is equal to 0. Now, from here, now remember, we're going to ignore this thing right now and focus solely in here. Again, this guy in here, how would I factor that? Well, we would do PS2. So the product is negative 48. The sum is positive 2. So the two numbers that multiply to 48 but subtract 2 are, right, 6 and 8. I want positive 8 and negative 6. Okay, so when we put this all together, 2 is our greatest common factor. We have x minus 6, x plus 8 is equal to 0. But don't forget, we still have to solve this. Okay, this is just factored. This isn't the answer. So I'm going to bring it over here. 2x minus 6, x plus 8 equals 0. Alright, so let's solve this out. Here, the first piece, 2 equaling 0. The math you're aware of is 2 ever equals 0. Well, the answer is no, it doesn't. So, this doesn't count. We get to throw it away. No good. Alright, next one. X minus 6 equals 0. Therefore, x is going to equal 6. That's easy. Next one, x plus 8 is equal to 0. So we would minus the 8 from either side. So x equals negative 8. Now that we found those, now we get to go back all the way to the beginning and put that stuff in, because we have to create our data table. Alright, so here we go. I'm told in the first one, x can be 6 or x can be negative 8. So let's scooch in. Okay, x can be 6 or negative 8. So now we're just filling in. So 6 plus 2 is positive 8. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. And there's your data table, all said and done. Alright, I'm going to let you try number 3 on your own. Okay, now again, I think you guys on your worksheet, you might have to jot this one down, because I don't think it's on your worksheet. So again, I'll give you we'll jot this thing down, you write it all out, and then on the back side of your paper, and then I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes to work this thing out, and then I'll come up and we'll take care of business. Alright, so catch up with you in a few minutes. Again, you can leave the tape running again, and I will come back in a few minutes. So just leave things going, work the problem out, and then I'll come back and I'll talk to you about what's going on. Alright, I'll see you in a few minutes. I'm still here. So again, give you about another 30 seconds or so to finish this problem up. Then we'll talk about it. Okay. Alright, are we ready? Alright, so here we go. Let's talk about this one. Alright, the product of two consecutive integers is 306. Find the three numbers. Oops, I think they mean 2. It's supposed to be 2, not 3. Alright, so here we go. First things first. Again, the product of two consecutive integers. Consecutive integers. Again, because they don't say even and because they don't say odd, this is a flat out non-specific problem. So our first thing is x, and the second one will be x plus 1. Okay, our non-specific integers. Now, then we have to figure out what the operations are going to be here. So again, this is the product of these two things. Okay, so that means we're going to multiply. So x times x plus 1 is equal to 306. Alright, now unfortunately for us, because this side of the equation does not equal 0, we have to multiply this all out. So here we go. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x, equaling 306. Okay, now we're going to minus 306. Alright, so x squared plus x minus 306 is equal to 0. Alright, so now we are now set up to factor this. So let me set this up. X squared plus x minus 306 is equal to 0. Alright, so we're going to factor this using PS2. 306. The sum is 1. Remember, positive 1. Alright, I can give myself a little more room, so I'm going to scooch this over a little bit. There we go. Alright, so I need two numbers that multiply to 306 but subtract to 1. Now again, for those of us who don't remember, and you're looking at 306 going, oh no, what are we going to do? I don't know this. Again, remember to list off the multiples of the product. Okay, so you start as simple as 1 and 306. Well, will that subtract to 1? Certainly not. So we start, divide it by 2. Well, 2 and 306, well, try that again. 306 divided by 2 turns into 153. Okay, that doesn't work. So now we try it. 306 divided by 3 is 102. Nope, certainly not. Then you try it. 306 divided by 4 doesn't work. 306 divided by 5 doesn't work. Then you get to 6, and it's going to be 6 and 51. Well, we're getting closer. Try 7, doesn't work. You try dividing by 8, doesn't work. But then you get to 9, 9 and 34. Alright, we're getting there. Try by 10, certainly not. 11, 12, no. 13, nope. 14, nope. 15, no. 16, it's not divisible by 4, so no. 17, and when you get there, 17 and 18 give you 306, and they will subtract to 1. Alright, so here we go. And again, if you had already gotten there long before, I do apologize, but again, some people just need to be reminded of how to do things. Alright, so we're going to go 17 and 18. My signs are going to be positive 18 and negative 1, or negative 17, sorry. So my parentheses, x minus 17 and x plus 18 is equal to 0. Alright, so now let's do this up. So x minus 17, x plus 18 is equal to 0. So now we solve. X minus 17 is equal to 0. Add 17s. Therefore, x equals 17. X plus 18 is equal to 0. Therefore, x equals negative 18. Now again, remember folks, just because we got to the x's in the end doesn't mean we're done. We have to go all the way back here again. Alright, so let's build in our data table. Now again, we found out x was 17 and negative 18. Okay, so in our data table, we're going to have 17, negative 18. Okay, and then just do this up. 17 plus 1 is 18. Negative 18 plus 1 is negative 17. And there is our data table. Okay? Alright, whoops. Already messing this thing up, and I didn't even get to that yet. Alright, so scooch this up a little bit, give us some room to work. Now here's another problem I don't think is on your worksheet, so you might want to jot this one down. So it says the sum of the squares of two consecutive even integers is 340. Find the two numbers. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away for about 2 to 3 minutes, and again, leave the tape running, and I will come back in that time, and then we will go through this problem. Alright? So I will catch up with you in about 2 to 3 minutes, so keep working. Alright folks, I'm going to be talking to you for a minute and then we're going to get this thing started. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing and see what's going on. Now again, first thing I do, again with a word problem, is we read the stupid thing. We don't do much of anything else at first. You just read it to get an understanding of what is going on. So, the sum of the squares of two consecutive even integers is 340. Find the two numbers. Okay, so first things first. I notice consecutive even integers. Even being the key word. Again, so that is a specific type of problem. It's specifically telling me what it wants. So again, the first piece is x. The second one is x plus 2. Alright. Now, the next part, we need to figure out what we're doing with all these pieces, okay? So now, it says the sum of the squares. So we start with the sum component. X plus 2. So there's the sum. Now the squares component says we're going to take those pieces and we're going to square them. And the end result of all this is going to be 340. Oops, that was an awful 0. So 340. Alright, so now let's start to solve this. Alright, so I'm going to square x. So x squared, that's no big deal. Plus, now here, x plus 2 being squared means we got to write this bad boy twice. Like so, equaling 340. Now unfortunately for us, because this one side is in 0 over here, we now have to torr-tack this out. So x squared plus x times x is x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4 equals to 340. Alright, so let's do this up. Combine our like terms. We get 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 340. Alright, now for the fun, I got to minus the 340. So 2x squared plus 4x minus 336 is equal to 0. Alright, yippee. We've got that pretty much broken down. Now, alright, so let's set it up. 2x squared plus 4x minus 336 is equal to 0. So now we've got to factor this. So first thing we do, let's take out the GCF. They all share a multiple of 2. So kick out the 2. X squared plus 2x minus 168 is equal to 0. Alright, now we got to PS2 this thing. Product negative 168. The sum is positive 2. So the two numbers. Again, if you were working on this one and you got stuck, again, remember, list off the multiples of the product. 1 and 168. Nope. 2 and 84. Nope. 3 and 56. Nope. 4 and 42. Nope. Is it divisible by 5? Certainly not. There we go. 6 and 28. Nope. 7 and 24. We're getting there. But no. 8 and 21. Nope. Divisible by 9. Nope. 10. Nuh-uh. 11. Then we get to 12 and 14. Well, that looks good. So here we go. 12, 14. Now again, I need a positive 2, so plus 14 and negative 12. So when I put this all together as factored, 2 parenthesis x minus 12, x plus 14 is equal to 0. Alright, so there we have this thing factored. Now we have to solve it. Okay, so we had 2 parenthesis x minus 12 and x plus 14 is equal to 0. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's solve this. First piece, 2 equals 0. Can we have 2 equals 0? Nope. Away with you. Alright, here we go. Next one. X minus 12 is equal to 0. So I add the 12. Therefore, x equals 12. Here, x plus 14 is equal to 0. Minus 14s. Therefore, x equals negative 14. And there's those. But don't forget, we're not done yet. We now have to go all the way back to the beginning. Alright, and again, remember, we were told x is 12 and negative 14, so let's zoom in here. So x is going to, hey. Alright, so again, we're told that x is 12, negative 14. Alright, so I add 2, that's going to be 14. Negative 14 plus 2 is negative 12. And there you have it. So there's that one. Okay? Alright, so that should about do it. So again, at this time, you can start your homework. And again, hopefully you've learned something. And we'll see you another time. Alright, catch you later.